Well, welcome to Marbella, and one of the most interesting cars I've driven in years, which is right behind me, the Kia EV6. Driven down to Portabanus. Here, well, let's have a spin around. Welcome to the next Gear Show. You see, along the front here, no air vent. Looks like a sort of a grille that's meant to be here, but actually hides a little camera. This is all part of a new Kia design language that redesigns the tiger nose and makes the whole car stand out. To me, it looks like something from the future that you'd be looking at from a sci-fi movie. This new Kia comes in rear-wheel drive and four-wheel drive versions. Many other BEVs currently on the market struggle with the shortcomings that are associated with being developed on architectures originally created for cars running on internal combustion engines. This EV6 has been built from the ground up to be fully electric. There is a long-range 77.4 kilowatt-hour for up to 528 kilometers on a full charge. You might get a little more than that driving through an urban low-speed zone. There's also the standard range, 58 kilowatt, gives a not too shabby 400 kilometers. There's a lot of this textured plastic stuff on the outside as well. It's really textured stuff. Interior, my bag is fully fitted back here with all the stuff hanging out of it, as usually is, which easily fit 3 in that back seat. And then the front is massive. We'll go into more detail at the front where you're sitting. It's like Blade Runner in here. Honest to God, it's very different for any car company. So I quite like as well how Kia has hidden a charge point. This charge point here, which is of course Type 2 and CCS charging as per normal, but they've actually hidden it nicely into the bodywork of the car. So it's actually flushed there, not to say it's a charge point or other. Just a few words on the interior of this car, which is super efficient. It has so many little features in it. You really would have to live with the car to get used to it. Before we do that, let's have a look at the boot space, which is large. These are big cars with flat floors. There's a 60-40 split here in the back seat, so you have plenty of room for absolutely everything. You can remove tonneau covers and make it a proper van. You've also got a front trunk for where you want to hang your cables and stuff you need. Flat floor in the back for all the passengers, makes it very easy to use. And then the driver's well surrounded in the front. Some of the steering wheels have flat bottoms, some have round bottoms. It's just got absolutely everything in here and anything you might need for the future. So I've been driving the EV6 since early this morning. We did a good drive this morning on motorways, back roads, the whole thing. I do like the wireless charger in here, by the way, Kia. It's quite nice. Just there at the very top, you just put it in and go doosh, and it starts to charge immediately. Interesting. I don't like wireless charging, can I point out though, and I'll tell you why. It wastes a lot of energy, no? Things get very hot when they get charged up, and when they're charged up and they're hot, you're wasting energy. Just saying. Steering wheel in the one this morning is a bit different. It had a flat bottom to it, but essentially it's the same interior I was looking at this morning as well. This is a full wraparound screen, and this little screen here is quite interesting because you just press it and you get map, nav, seek, track, radio, media setup. Press it again, you have all your air conditioning controls. It is a touch screen, but it does have physical knobs for the temperature itself. So you can touch it at any point and change it from volume. It turns up the volume of the radio. You press it that way and you change the temperature. It's the same knob. It's a good knob. That's a bit hot, or that's a bit blowy though, isn't it? We'll calm that down a bit. A center knob here for turning you on and off, or for going R&D. And then you have heated seats and cooled seats and heated steering wheel and all are in front of that again. And then the EV power on and off button. Underneath that is a floating console, so underneath that you have some interesting sort of hooks and things for hanging things on if you want, like a shopping could go in the middle here. And you got a massive bins there, and you have massive bins here. Tons of storage, flat floor all round and in the back. There is 3 USB ports up front. One's a charging one, one's a nav or music one, and one's a USB-C port for running your Apple CarPlay stuff. Anyway, look, we'll crack on a bit of a drive as well, okay? Because we have a lot to fill in. There's a lot to unpack in the EV6. It's also fairly quick, I have to say. It makes a good noise as well. It's weirdly fast, but not in a Tesla fast way. Just It just sounds like something that's landing from space. Just go. I love it. I love that feeling. There's a great feeling to it. It is, I'll go back to normal mode just so I don't...
200 meters, leave the roundabout at the first exit.
I don't need to hear her, and I can't turn her down, would you believe? She doesn't turn down. Anyway, go to the roundabout. I do have a heads-up display in this, and you do need it, because from this position where I'm sitting, I do struggle to see the speedo over here, and I do struggle to see the camera wing mirrors. So there's ordinary wing mirrors, but there's also, when you turn it on, a camera wing mirror over here that looks in your blind spot. It's looking to see where your corner is. You can also see things like the footpath. It's very cool, like it's very cool. But you will struggle a little bit to see that. You have to kind of duck your head down and see up here. So there's a heads-up display as well. You've got 3 drive modes. You've got Eco, you've got Normal, and you've got Sport. And the noise is there in all of them. The acceleration is much better in Sport.
Leave the roundabout at the second exit.
I'm kind of around Portobello's area, Malaga, the main strip, all that kind of area here. So we're doing circuits of things. Istan is just up the way. I know where I am. A few interesting things that I notice here. You can charge both directions with this. So you can take power in, and they give you an adapter to put power out as well. So that we're charging like electric bicycle that was there. You can charge up campsites, you can run things directly from the car. So if you go camping, as my family does quite regularly, we do the camping thing during the summer, you bring your electric car. When you get to the campsite, your electric car can now power the lights and whatever else you want to do in your caravan or whatever, you know, whatever vehicle you brought to go with it, right? But besides that sort of turnabout, which I think is quite interesting, the car itself has a 77.1 kilowatt hour battery. I'm not quite sure of that one, but it's a big battery. Gives you range, they claim, of over 500 kilometers. Realistically, I take about 20 to 25, maybe even up to 30% of that when they're talking about the range, depending on how you drive it. If you drive like a good Christian motorist, you will get that range, I'd say, because it felt today, we started with about, I think we had 92% battery we started this morning, and we drove for a long time, and I still had over 50% of my battery left. Like
turn half right.
We did over 200 kilometers driving today, and some of it on mountain roads, some of it on the motorway at good speed. Like we were doing a bit of a lick on the motorway there. There is no trouble with that. Active cruise controls on this as well. I struggle to find something I don't like, other than the steering wheel being slightly obscuring the speedo.
For the next 1.9
That's
kilometers,
it.
keep straight on this road.
It looks better than the Hyundai offering. I think it looks outstanding on the outside. It's one of the finest looking electric cars you can buy in the market today. It definitely rivals something like the Skoda Enyaq, which is actually my favourite electric car of all time. This very much rivals it. I have to try this in Ireland to see about whether it actually rivals that car or not. But I just think the Kia have done exactly what was required here to make this car work, and work very well. And we can have a bit of fun here as well, because the speed limit is a lot higher than I'm going here. So if I go, I get full recharge there as well as auto recharge is turned on. So we're going to go into sport now, and you see what I'm talking about when I go poof. Hear that noise? Sounds like a turbine coming on. It really does make a very good noise. I think it's really, really good. An exciting noise. And it hangs on, it can grip. It can grip. Unlike a lot of electric cars, which have special tyres on them to make them go as far as they possibly can, they run out of grip very quick. This don't run out of no grip, I can tell you that. So as I chuck it right into that corner and accelerate right the way through, the car just tightens up. It just tightens up, it goes. You squirt, you go. That's it. It's so easy. That's the lane keeping thing, by the way, warning me that I'm running out of my lane, but I can see that. You can see how chuckable the whole car is. Turn it right in there. On we go. And the same for this corner here, look. Turn it right in, and I'm accelerating through this corner. I'm trying to get a bit of lift off happening, because it is rear wheel drive, and there's no chance of that. It literally just forces itself forward. You go, boom. And brakes are good. Now, the reason I was showing you that kind of performance stuff happening right there is because there's a GT version of this car coming out later on in the year. Looks outstanding. Here's a quick trailer. that coming as well.
First exit.
A performance version of this car. The car is outstanding. I can't really tell you anything more about it. I think it's my favorite. I think it's my favorite electric car in the market at the moment. It certainly is insanely comfortable and yet supportive on the seats. Now, they've been messing with the suspension in the car as well. One of the engineers was making a video there this morning. I have to get more detail on it, but they were talking about more valves in the suspension system, so it's able to cope with low speed bumps in the road and still tighten itself up for sport mode. I'll go out of sport mode, go back into normal mode again. In normal and eco, it's a pleasant car to drive. Very, very pleasant. You just sit there and while away a couple hours at the wheel easily. Wait, what point? Tour point? What? I don't even know what road I'm on anymore. Couldn't tell you. I've been driving for so many bleeding hours, I couldn't tell you.
You have reached your tour point.
Right. Thanks. This is where I do a U-turn.
At the fourth exit.
Oh, we do a U-turn and come all the way back down. Interesting. We're not going all the way to East Stand. We're doing a U-E. I'm going to pull in over here so we can talk about this car a little bit further. So I'm going to do. Little dusty, deserty area over here, it'd be fine. Join me after I park. Lots of cameras, lots of cameras. We like cameras. These are good. You can see everything, but there's actually good mirrors there too, so I ain't too worried about the cameras. They're unnecessary some way. Anyway, we'll pull up here and let's have a chat for a minute. Look at this thing. Look at it. Isn't that just gorgeous? It is a very pretty car. And I think it's like the modern day Mona Lisa. You know, it just really has ticked my box, so to speak. And that's the thing, you see. Electric cars are starting to mature. I'm starting to like driving them. That's very good to drive. It's probably one of the best driving electric cars I've ever driven. And that includes Audi e-tron GT, and it also includes Porsche Taycan. I think this is a nicer thing to drive, weirdly. More controllable, less of a hooligan and more of a regular car. And it's a big car. It's a big car. You get your whole family in that and all the stuff that they require on a daily basis as well. And you want to worry about getting, I don't know, if you want to drive from Dublin to Cork and back again, like other journalists do, and other people seem to want to do these range tests, yeah, it can. On a single charge more than probably. So regular viewers will know that I'm quite hard on EVs. I'm quite hard on these cars. I don't just take these cars and go, oh, they're the best car in the world. I actually test them and look at them and see what they're like. This one is now on the top two, definite up there with the Skoda Enyaq. Those two cars that really do it for me in the EV world. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I don't know what all the old people are doing over here. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've hit the subscribe button at this point, because if you haven't, I'm going to come around your house and ask you why. So expect a knock on the door as to why you're not subscribed to the channel, because it's very important. Thank you very much for watching, and until the next time, I'll see you on the far side of this mountain with old people who are all standing over here looking at me. Are they looking at me still? They're still looking. I'm trying to see them all on the screen. I gotta get out of here before somebody sees me.